Well, 12 months ago, Norway's Olaf Tufte won this title, succeeding New Zealand's Rob Waddell, who since the Olympics has focused on earning a place in his country's America's Cup team. Well, this is the lineup on the far side for Austria, Ralf Krajbic. Next to him in lane number 2 for Slovenia, Itzhak Čop. Last year's runner-up, once again trying to regain the title he last won in 1995. Here is the world champion, whose style is generally to settle for the first 1,000 and then wind it up throughout the second half. From Magdeburg in Germany, the World Cup champion, undefeated this season, Marcel Hacker, but still thought by one or two to be mentally fragile when put under extreme pressure. In lane 5, the 34-year-old from the Czech Republic, Václav Chalupa, as hungry as ever, 4 times a runner-up, yet to win this title. And last but not least, in lane 6, closest to you, this is Dirk Lippitt's silver medals with the Dutch quad in the Sydney Olympics and last year's World Championships, now tackling the sport's ultimate individual challenge. So here we go, the start of the men's single sculls, and this should be something to relish, Dan.
Oh, this is a real tactical battle between the 3 men in the middle there, Norway, Slovenia and Germany. This is Hacker, who is a fast starter, likes to go out in front, and the only way really that anyone's going to beat him, I think, is to undermine that confidence that he gets when he gets out in front. Well, I think you've really got a battle between Norway and Slovenia. They're the people who are going to try to put pressure on him. He's the one that they have to beat, and the way that they're going to beat him is to try and press him in the middle, get in front of him and make him break up. That's the key. That's the key. In the semi-final, that's what Čop, this man here, had to try and do. He went out in front, and he was out in front of Hacker, and then let Hacker come through to win that semi-final. But he was testing him. He was just seeing how fragile Hacker would be. But here it is. Hacker's out in his favourite position, and he's gone out in front.
In picture now, the defending world champion, the 26-year-old Norwegian Olaf Tufte. Of course, he and the man to his right, Itzhak Čop, no strangers to each other, because right the way through the Sydney Olympics they were battling each other in the double sculls, and now they find themselves confronting each other once again in the singles. But Hacker looking very comfortable, very smooth start.
He's a very powerful sculler. He's a very, very eccentric guy, but he won't like this. He won't like the fact that Čop has just edged past him here. Everybody putting a lot of pressure on him. He's won through here, been very, very confident in the heats and the semi, but Čop is the one really giving him a lot of trouble at 500 metres.
Yes, and it's just about the Slovenian, indeed it is, through the first quarter. And good to see the Czech sculler, Václav Chalupa. Here he is in picture, right there, up with the pace. And Dan, wouldn't it be wonderful if one of these seasons this man could actually take the title?
Oh, it would be a joy, because he's back in 1991 he's been winning medals, but never the top one. But he's a very big, powerful athlete. And this man really new to this single scull game, really, at this level. Done well to get into the final, but he's out on the outside lane, and I think he'll find it quite hard when there's so much tactical stuff going on up in front.
Quite interesting that the Dutch decided to break up their successful quad formation to do something different this season.
Well, the other 3 have gone into the coxless 4, and they're performing well in it, but not as well as they were in the quadruple scull. So I think they're just having a break from each other, probably, for this season.
But here's Čop, Dan. Now, this is very, very familiar, as we saw in the semi-finals. He's trying to do exactly the same again, but can he carry it through this time?
Just watch how Čop sculls. It's so different to the way Hacker sculls. Čop lies a long way back. He's a small guy, powerful guy, keeps going, great lungs. He's not a pretty sculler to watch, but he does move his boat. Hacker, meanwhile, sits up tall, pumps away on his legs. He's a big athlete, and he doesn't really finish it out as strongly as Čop. So Čop gets his power through the last part of the stroke, whereas Hacker gets it through the middle, the first part in the middle of the stroke. There you can see that lie back there of Čop. Long sculling, big long strokes.
So still the Slovenian with the advantage through the first half of the race there, and pretty close together, and all the medals up for grabs here. Just a little bit concerned about Tufte. Seems to me to be just a little far off the pace.
Well, I think Čop has really been he's been let down by Tufte, because I think Tufte should have been pushing Hacker in this this thrust here through the middle. But what is Hacker going to do now? This is the first time he's been put under this kind of pressure. This is extraordinary. Chop has got nearly a length on Hacker, and with Chop's courage, you know that it's going to take an awful lot to pull him back. And I think Chop is really going. This is exactly what he wanted to do. Hacker hasn't responded yet, but he's holding on, that they are well up now on Chalupa and on Tufta.
Yes, clear water for the first two, ahead of the leaders there, and Chop, 17 years of experience in the sport, and he's really laying it down to Hacker now as Tufta starts to get going.
Now we're going to see now what Hacker is made of, because this is the first time he's been put under this kind of pressure. We're going to see whether he has the courage, whether he has the character to do it, and look at this, he is coming back. Chop has done everything he can to win this race. He's pushed so hard in the middle. He's made the move on Hacker. Now, has Hacker got the courage to pull him back again?
Yes, it's just reminding me of, for a moment, Dan, of last year's semi-finals when Hacker, put under pressure, did blow up and lost his place in the final when he was reckoned to be a contender 12 months ago.
Well, he's retaken the lead here with 500 metres to go, and here comes the Czech. Here comes Chalupa. He's putting pressure now back onto Slovenia, but Hacker has gone through. That is remarkable. He was taken by nearly a length by Chop. Chop hasn't given up, though. Chop is fighting him now all the way. These two great scullers here, very different styles. Who's going to pull it out in this last 300 metres?
Well, the 25-year-old from Magdeburg has got the advantage now, coached by Andreas Moll, who's been cool as a cucumber, has been looking after him. But he's also been quite relaxed, because earlier in the week he was right alongside us in the commentary box, not concerned to come and give an interview after the semi-finals. So it's seemingly Hacker full of confidence, looking at Chop now, and seemingly, to me, Dan, in control of this race. Meanwhile, here comes Tufta on a charge against Chalupa at the bottom of the picture as we come in front of the grandstands and the crowds.
This is a fantastic finish, but look what Hacker's done. He's just walked right away from Chop. Now Chop is under pressure from Chalupa and from Tufta, the world champion, coming out from 4th place, trying to get a medal, but no one's going to stop Hacker. Hacker is a length up and moving so powerfully and going very fast.
Chalupa, closest to you there, is getting really frantic now, because he can see a medal disappearing, because Chalupa is under enormous pressure from Tufta, who's just gone past him now. Hacker still looks at Chop, but he's safe, as you said, Dan. He's going to become world champion. Chop is going to hang on to the silver, because Tufta's just a bit too slow in his final charge, and he has to settle for bronze. Poor old Chalupa finds himself out of the medal positions, and then Dirk Lippitz coming in ahead of the Austrian Ralf Krebich, who did well to get into today's final. But there's Hacker following in a long line of successful German scullers. Andre Wilms in '94, Thomas Langer before him, and of course the great Peter Michael Kolbe.
Well, Chop did everything he possibly could there, and Tufta really left it late. No wonder he's annoyed, but no taking anything away from Hacker. That's a fantastic performance for him. A lot of questions asked of him. Could he? Did he have the courage? Did he have the character to be led and then pushed back? Yes, he did.